What's happening, y'all? Wow. Man, it is happening. It's getting crazy. I hope you are absolutely blown away by the imagery that you have experienced in this book so far. Lines 747 to 870 characterize the negotiation of the Infernal Alliance and the subversion of the Divine Trinity, shifting from a tense standoff at the gates of hell to a horrific family pact. This section concludes the action inside hell, providing the reader with the precise mechanism by which the gates are opened. This passage centers on Satan's brilliant, self-serving capacity to adapt his rhetoric. Confronted with the grotesque reality of his offspring, Satan shifts seamlessly from a posture of martial aggression to smooth, elusive flattery. He frames his journey to Earth not as a selfish pursuit of vanity, but as a liberating mission for his newfound family. While God's heavenly Trinity operates on perfect, selfless love, Satan's infernal Trinity, namely Satan, sin, and death, is bound together by mutual exploitation and a shared thirst for destruction. The book moves towards its close as Satan promises sin and death an inheritance on the new earth. He vows that once he corrupts mankind, they will have free reign to feed on the new world, where they shall grow fat and live at ease. All right, enough of that. Let's jump back into it together. Last time we ended with Satan asking Sin, a half-woman, half-serpent creature, why she called him father and called death his son. And so, Sin, the portress of Hellgate, replies, saying, "Hast thou forgot me then? And do I seem now in thine eyes so foul, once deemed so fair in heaven? When at the assembly, and in sight of all the seraphim with thee combined in bold conspiracy against heaven's king, all on a sudden miserable pain surprised thee, dim thine eyes, and dizzy swum in darkness, while thy head flames thick and fast threw forth, till on the left side opening wide, likest to thee in shape and countenance bright, then shining heavenly fair, a goddess armed, out of thy head I sprung. Amazement seized all the host of heaven, back they recoiled, afraid at first, and called me Sin, and for a sign portentous held me. But familiar grown I pleased, and with attractive graces won the most averse, thee chiefly, who full oft thyself in me thy perfect image viewing becamest enamored, and such joy thou tookest with me in secret, that my womb conceived a growing burden. Meanwhile war arose, and fields were fought in heaven, wherein remained, for what could else, to our almighty foe clear victory, to our part loss and rout through all the Empyrean. Down they fell, driven headlong from the pitch of heaven, down into this deep, and in the general fall I also, at which time this powerful key into my hand was given, with charge to keep these gates forever shut, which none can pass without my opening. Pensive here I sat alone, but long I sat not, till my womb, pregnant by thee, and now excessive grown, prodigious motion felt and rueful throes. At last this odious offspring whom thou seest, thine own begotten, breaking violent way, tore through my entrails, that with fear and pain distorted, all my nether shape thus grew transformed. But he, my inbred enemy, forth issued, brandishing his fatal dart made to destroy. I fled and cried out, "Death!" Hell trembled at the hideous name, and sighed from all her caves, and back resounded, "Death!" I fled, but he pursued, though more, it seems, inflamed with lust than rage, and swifter far me overtook his mother all dismayed, and in embraces forcible and foul, engendering with me of that rape begot these yelling monsters that with ceaseless cry surround me, as thou sawest, hourly conceived and hourly born, with sorrow infinite to me. For when they list into the womb that bred them, they return and howl and gnaw my bowels, their repast. Then bursting forth afresh with conscious terrors vex me round, that rest or intermission none I find. Before mine eyes in opposition sits grim death, my son and foe, who sets them on, and me his parent would full soon devour for want of other prey, but that he knows his end with mine involved, and knows that I should prove a bitter morsel, and his bane, whenever that shall be. So fate pronounced. But thou, O Father, I forewarn thee, shun his deadly arrow, neither vainly hope to be invulnerable in those bright arms, though tempered heavenly, for that mortal dint, save he who reigns above, none can resist. She finished, and the subtle fiend his lore soon learned, now milder, and thus answered smooth. Dear daughter, since thou claimest me for thy sire, and my fair son here showest me the dear pledge of dalliance had with thee in heaven, and joys then sweet, now sad to mention, through dire change befallen us unforeseen, unthought of, know I come no enemy, but to set free from out this dark and dismal house of pain both him and thee, and all the heavenly host of spirits that in our just pretenses armed fell with us from on high. From them I go this uncouth errand sole, and one for all myself expose, with lonely steps to tread the unfounded deep, and through the void immense to search with wandering quest a place foretold should be, and by concurring signs, ere now created vast and round, a place of bliss in the purlieus of heaven, and therein placed a race of upstart creatures, to supply perhaps our vacant room, though more removed, lest heaven surcharged with potent multitude might hap to move new broils. Be this or aught than this more secret now designed, I haste to know, and this once known shall soon return, and bring ye to the place where thou and death shall dwell at ease, and up and down unseen wing silently the buxom air, embalmed with odors. There ye shall be fed and filled immeasurably, all things shall be your prey. He ceased, for both seemed highly pleased, and death grinned horribly a ghastly smile, to hear his famine should be filled, and blessed his maw destined to that good hour. No less rejoiced his mother bad, and thus bespake her sire. The key of this infernal pit by due, and by command of heaven's all-powerful king, I keep, by him forbidden to unlock these adamantine gates. Against all force death ready stands to interpose his dart, fearless to be o'ermatched by living might. But what owe I to his commands above who hates me, and hath hither thrust me down into this gloom of Tartarus profound, to sit in hateful office here confined, inhabitant of heaven and heavenly born, here in perpetual agony and pain, with terrors and with clamors compassed round of mine own brood, that on my bowels feed. Thou art my father, thou my author, thou my being gavest me. Whom should I obey but thee? Whom follow? Thou wilt bring me soon to that new world of light and bliss, among the gods who live at ease, where I shall reign at thy right hand voluptuous, as beseems thy daughter and thy darling without end. Wow. That's all for today. Until next time, ciao.